Hello and welcome. Today we've got Adam Shardlow and James Mason, and we are going to be discussing how you should not be buying any gold until you've watched this video. Now, just before we begin, you can subscribe to our Telegram channels and to nicholasveniamin.com for my free email updates. And if you're watching this for the first time on YouTube, I will leave the link below in the description for the full interview, unless, of course, myself and the guests agree to choose our words wisely due to the insane censorship that's happening right now. Adam and James, how are you? We'll go with you first. Adam, how are you and what have you been up to?
Yeah, we're doing really good. Very busy. I'm sure we always say that when we come on. But yeah, all good, helping people and trying to make an impact.
Absolutely. And James, how about you?
We're buzzing right now because we're progressing. The journey is good. The journey is great. We're loving the journey and being able to help out and reach more people. We're always looking at ways to improve what we're doing and to be able to help people in different ways. And regarding the pension side of things now, for the people within Europe and UK, it looks like we're going to be able to help them now too. Whereas before, we were only able to help people with the pensions in the US. So we're just about there, Adam, aren't we?
Yeah, it's a lot going on.
So that's exciting. That's exciting, being able to help people with that side of things, you know, in the UK and in Europe. So.
Well, you're doing a fantastic job. I mean, it is silver and gold after all. You can't really go wrong. It's God's money. So you're telling the viewers, do not buy any gold until you've watched this video. Now, I'm going to ask you questions on behalf of the viewers. Why is that?
Because when we started out buying metals for ourselves, we're customers first and foremost. We kind of didn't know what we didn't know. And we went on a big journey of working out how the industry works and what to look out for, what to consider. And we kind of wish we knew all of the stuff that we know now at the beginning. We'd be in a far better place now financially if we did. And we just want to kind of package that and give the best of the last 6.5 years so that people can start with the best opportunity possible, rather than having to make mistakes and figure out stuff that we had to do. So yeah, it's a bit of a shortcut really that we want to just offer people.
Okay, great. So are you guys going to share your screen today to show us anything, or is this more of a,
Yes.
Yeah, you want to do that? Okay, let's just let you do that.
There's only a few slides, but they're really key.
Yeah.
Well, that's important. Sometimes it's just very simple, isn't it?
Yeah, I think with all of this, we could talk about many different points, but these are just the big picture things that if you consider these, then you'll not go too far wrong. So I guess, look, just a disclaimer, as we always say, is we don't want to give advice. We're not financial advisors or accountants. Please don't take this as advice. This is it's guidance, it's education, it's what we do, and more importantly, why we do it that way. So yeah, just take from it what you will. I think the first thing for us is we always wanted to work out why gold? Why gold in the first place? What is the reason that you would even want to buy gold? And for us, there's two reasons, and we've touched on it before, but these are the key points that will just will really help you in the decision making as you go through. So the first point on why gold for us is control. We want control of our hard-earned money. We want it out of the hands of the banks, and we want to know that when we put it somewhere, that it's in our control, we do what we want with it. And this image really signifies it for us, is when you've got paper money in the bank, who's controlling it? It's the bank. They risk it, they leverage it, they do what they want with it, and then they tell you when you can transfer it, where you can transfer it, how much you can transfer. The power's in their hand. And there was a great kind of time when the banks really showed their hand in this. And we've had many people come to us and say, banks aren't letting me do this, and they're telling me this. A guy the other day had the police come to the bank because of one transfer that he wanted to do, his money, his account, nothing out of the ordinary. And the banks actually said to one of our customers, yes, it's your money, but we own the account. And that's the reality of how banks work, and how money in a bank is not, it's not controlled by you. And that's the key point, the really key point with control. We want to be able to do what we want with it. So
it's risky, Adam, isn't it? It's risky because I had that bit there, because most people, the average person, thinks it's risky taking their money out of the bank. But when you understand this, you start to realize that it's actually risky to leave your money in the bank.
Yeah.
It's a bit like having money in your bank. And tell me if I'm wrong here. Having money in your bank is a bit like having money in crypto, but crypto that's declining constantly.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. And that it's like having crypto in someone else's crypto wallet.
Someone else's wallet, because they've got.
And it's declining.
That's declining. Yeah. It's like so many layers.
What a man-made hell, isn't it? And we don't even know about it. And that's that's what slavery is. It's the illusion of freedom.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And they make money from your money being there. They make a lot of money, more zeros than what you'd ever imagine, from your money being there. But they give you nothing for it. They give you scraps on the table, if anything.
So the first point of why gold is control for us. And maybe people that are watching this, maybe you're resonating this, maybe you're saying, yes, I'd like to take control of my finances. We always say that, we want to be in control, because the opposite is being out of control. And who wants to be out of control with their finances? The second point of why gold is the performance. As you said, if you said to people, look, you've got a chance to invest in this thing. We're not going to tell you what it's called, but this kind of thing here, it goes down pretty much every year. It's designed to do that. It's not in your control, and you can store it in different places, but it's not going to make very much. And history shows us that it's pretty much going to go to zero. Do you want in? Do you want to invest? And everyone would say, absolutely not. That's paper money. That's literally what it's designed to do. It's just packaged in a different way. Because you see, a £10 note or €10 note or $20 or whatever, you don't see that number going down. You don't necessarily realize that it's losing value, but it buys you less year after year after year. And we're going through a real time now of inflation where money's losing value. We can simplify this in kind of two pictures. This is the performance of the dollar over time. You don't really need to know much more about that graph than it's down and to the right. And that's the value it's just losing year after year. Now, when we look at gold, there's two parts to the picture. And one is the performance of gold, the thing you're going to. But you also have to look at the other 50% of the picture, which is what you're giving up. And if paper money is going down in value and gold only maintained its value, then you're winning. You're winning by doing that, because you're preserving the value of your hard-earned money. The reality is paper money is going down and gold's actually going up over the long term. So you've got this effect where you're kind of not losing and you're also gaining. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So it just puts you in a much better position than holding paper in the first place. A lot of people say to us, we want to make as much money as we can. And we say, that's great. Yeah, who doesn't? But the first thing is, let's stop you losing money in the first place. Let's stop you losing value. And these two pictures just sum up both halves of the picture. So for us, that's why gold. Number one is the control aspect, and the second is the performance. And it's in that order. Anything to add there, James?
No, that's spot on. It basically, for us, it's protecting you from the banks and inflation. That's another way of putting it.
And protecting you from the deep state.
yeah, which are the banks, aren't they? They're a big part of it, aren't they? Yeah. It's all about protection. It's all about protection. I feel a lot safer, a lot more secure having precious metals, that's for sure.
So the next thing that we want to consider, and we think people should consider, is getting the right vehicle for the journey. And this might seem a little bit backwards from what we usually say. We're pro gold. We're pro gold and silver. We love precious metals, but they do a certain job really well, but they're not good for every pound, dollar, euro that you've got. And it's thinking about what of the funds you've got, what do you want them to do? If you want to, spend them next week, yeah, gold's probably not the best option. If it's for a long-term thing, then yeah, gold could work well for that. But it's about working out exactly what are these funds for? Are they for a rainy day? Are they for 5 years' time? Are they for next week? Are they allocated to a property in 6 months' time? And making sure that you're not just rushing to gold. Because some people contact us and say, here's everything I've got, like, let's have it all in gold. And we say, hold on, let's work this out. Because if you're going to buy gold today and then have to sell part of it next week, you'd be better just keeping that in cash for now. So really important to consider getting the right vehicle for the job. For this, we just start with the end in mind and we work backwards and look at, are you at a point where you're saying, this is what I want it to be worth? Or are you saying, look, I don't really know. I just don't have this. I don't want to leave this cash in the bank for the long term. So work out your end goal and then work backwards. The other thing is considering the stage of life that you're at. If you're at a later stage of life and you've accumulated wealth, you've accumulated some funds, then maybe put in more funds into gold than silver. So gold is more consistent in its performance over time, generally speaking, whereas silver's more volatile. And at a later stage of life, maybe you're not wanting to take bigger risks and bigger rides of volatility. You'll just say, look, I want to protect and secure what I've got. Then maybe gold's a better option, or some allocation between 80% gold, 20% silver, something like that. The opposite, you might say, well, look, I'm at an earlier stage of life. I can afford to, take the bigger ups and downs, then maybe more silver for you. So these are things we never considered at the beginning. I only bought gold initially, didn't know anything about any other metals. I just thought, yeah, gold, that'll do. And then as I learned more about silver and how that works, I was more 70-30 gold to silver. And now we actually move between metals and switch metals and make them work for us in that way. Talking about switching, how involved do you want to be with your metals? So some people look at precious metals and say, well, yeah, I just want to buy and hold, set and forget, just have them put funds into metals and just leave them for the long term. I don't really want to get involved. Let's just let them do their thing. No problem. There is another option, as I said, of actually trading metals, trading physical metals. And this is something we spoke about before. And it's at a point now where you can actually automate the trading of metals. So you can say, look, I've got gold. At a certain point, I want to switch that to silver. And then when the prices change, I want to switch that silver back to gold. And you can automate that process. So it's 100% hands-free. So you're making free metals while you sleep. And not to be kind of, making big claims, but it's true. It can happen. So considering all these things, it will help you navigate what metal and how much of it and what your involvement might be.
Absolutely. Is that the end of the slide?
I've got one more slide.
Great. Okay.
So the other thing is the practicalities of buying metals. They're physical. They're a physical thing, and there's some things that come into play and things to consider when you're buying something physical. So first of all, storage. It has to go somewhere. You can store it in your home. You can store it in vaulted storage, and there's some advantages to both. None of this is right or wrong. It's just things to consider. So storing it in your home is one thing. With silver, you'll pay VAT on that, sales tax. Whereas there's places you can store silver that means you don't pay the tax, but you've not got it in your hand. So you've got to work out what's a priority to you, what you're willing to compromise on, and then find the best solution. Are you wanting to switch metals? Did that really intrigue you about trading between the two? Well, in that case, you would have to have them stored. Otherwise, it'd be a logistical nightmare, of trucks driving up and down the road with gold and silver, delivering it to your house as and when you switch. Flexibility. Do you want to just buy one of the biggest bars that you can and get maybe a better price, but you compromise on flexibility because you either buy the whole thing or you sell the whole thing? Or are you more thinking, do you know what, I'd rather pay a little bit more for the metals, but have that flexibility where I can sell a little bit down the line, or I can, transfer it to friends or family? Consider it now rather than at the other end when you've already got the thing yourself. And how are you going to sell the metals? At some point, I would guess most people are going to want to cash out and sell the metals. To who? Who do you sell metals to? You've got to physically take them somewhere, and you've got to work out what price they're going to give you as well. You don't always have to sell back to the company that you bought from. Some companies have a good buy price, some have a good buy back price. So do your research in all of this and make sure that your precious metal investment is going to serve you and be a tailor-made investment that you're going to get the most out of it. Any questions on that, Nicholas? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. It makes a lot of sense. This is a video to remind people, the value of gold and silver and to get away from the fiat currency. And we're just educating people. And also, I know you guys, if I leave a link below so that people can contact you if they want to be further educated on how to buy silver and gold, or if they want to even sell silver and gold, or when it's the best time. I know you're not financial advisors, but you can help them decide for themselves, because I understand you guys are very clued on with silver and gold. But guys, thank you very, very much. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to the viewers before we finish? Adam, we can go with you first.
I think if you want to know, again, what we do for ourselves and why we do that, get in contact with us, and we'll not only tell you, we'll show you. We'll show you how we do it, how we've been doing it for the last 6.5 years for ourselves and our families. And then at least you've got a frame of reference and something to compare to. And then, it's over to you, whatever you want to do.
Absolutely. And James?
Yeah, all I will say is just please get in touch. Don't let your own mindset hold you back. Because a lot of people rule themselves out, or I haven't got enough money, I can only do a little bit, or I can't do it because of this, and this. Because when people do send us emails or do contact us, many of the things, or most of the things that they think are showstoppers, aren't. They aren't showstoppers.
Yeah, that's true.
People rule themselves out all the time, and they don't even try. They don't even look. They don't even ask the questions. So we're trying to encourage people to get off that fence, because all it does is hurt your backside. The longer you're on that fence, the more it hurts your backside. So we're saying get off the fence and just get in touch. And if we can't help, we can't help. But most people we can. Most people we can. And you don't have to have thousands of pounds to do this. You don't even need hundreds of pounds, really, in most cases. People can save £50 a month, £25 a month. Some people spend tiny amounts, don't they, Adam? But at least they've started, at least they're doing something.
And if they don't do something, they're just declining. And this is the reason why they're on the fence. And we've all been there, is because the school system puts us on the fence.
Yes. Yeah.
And then we can't get out of this fence. So we have to do it. We have to actually empower ourselves and do this.
Yeah, you've got to do something different to what most people do. You've got to step out of that, and you've got to do the opposite in most cases. We've realized right from day one that most of the time, if you look at the masses and do the opposite, you'll be in a better place financially most of the time. And it's a shame, but that's the way it is.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thank you very much. And we'll speak again in 2 weeks. Thank you. God bless.
Yeah. Take care, Nicholas.